1045 The Team, your home for New York sports. My bracket's busted. Goz's bracket just exploded. But you can still cash in on this Final Four, especially if you're talking to our buddy Brandan Lang. Did you just hit your fourth straight 150-dimer?
Yeah, that's about as big as I'll go. And it was Sunday. My first 150-dimer was Clemson over Alabama. And then 150-dimer number 2 in a row was Atlanta blowing out Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. And then got a little lucky with 150-dimer number 3 in a row with the Patriots in the comeback, and I kind of set on it. Didn't really find something I loved until Sunday when I just loved South Carolina. I came with an 80-dimer on Saturday with Oregon over Kansas, and then up the ante with the 150-dimer Sunday. Monday, had a 20-dimer on Coastal Carolina. Tuesday, 40-dimer on Georgia Tech over Cal Bakersfield. Wednesday, 40-dimer on Texas A&M Corpus Christi, getting it done on the road. And I roll into Thursday on a 5-game winning streak, just balling. And this is where this business is so humbling because I can't miss. And then I just get on the wrong side of a wrong game on an 80-dimer with Georgia Tech, and they're never in it. And I'm into my fourth Tito's and Club Soda Splash of Cran. Made the last one a double. I'm watching the second half of that game going, geez, oh, Pete. As good as Oregon over Kansas was, and South Carolina over Florida, and Coastal Carolina, and Georgia Tech, and A&M Corpus Christi, my God. This was just bad, and that's the nature of being Brandan Lang. Is you never can win enough to sustain the demand of people that want your picks. There's guys that got that game last night that didn't get Oregon, that didn't get South Carolina, didn't get Coastal Carolina, didn't get Georgia Tech, didn't get Texas A&M Corpus Christi. But they got that one, and that's the pick that they'll now go, he sucks. See, I can't believe. They didn't get the first 350-dimers. They didn't get the winning month of January. They didn't get the winning month of February. They didn't get the winning month of March. They just got Georgia Tech last night. So at some point in life, you have to realize, and this goes with everyday life, you're just not going to make everybody happy. You're not. And once you accept that and just try to grind every day and do the best you can, you just know that you've made a few people happy along the way, and that's the only thing you can do. It's a God-forsaken business and a humbling business. And not that I was getting ahead of myself with this winning streak, because I know you're going to throw up a clunker every now and then. I'm a shooter. Always been a shooter. And as hot as I can get, my jumper can go cold, and I can miss a few. It's going to happen.
Wise words from Brandan Lang there. Let's move on to the Final Four. Now, opening up after the Elite Eight, Gonzaga for some casinos was listed as the favorite, but now it's shifted to North Carolina. Who should be the favorite to win the national championship?
I think based on, remember, everything Vegas does, for the most part, is based on reputation. And Vegas is trying to gauge what the public's going to do with that reputation. And so Carolina and their reputation, they should be the favorite. But don't sleep on the Zags, because what they did to Xavier, what they've done all year, Mark Few saying this is the best defensive team that he's had all year. 3 transfers came in, set out last year. All 3 started at Division I universities, in Washington, Missouri, and someplace else. 2 bigs, Collins, and I call him the Polish assassin, down low. Looks like he should be living in Alaska, doing the dog sledding. They're legit, but I think it's a two-legged race here with North Carolina. As far as the favorite is concerned, Gonzaga, North Carolina.
Brandan Lang with us right now, Vegas Insider on 104.5 The Team. So Brandon, when you look at that Zag team, they got to get past South Carolina, and I can't believe I'm even saying that, because going into the tournament, nobody thought South Carolina would be here. Is South Carolina going to be able to give Gonzaga a game?
That's the game I'm on the fence about, because I know it's easy to look past South Carolina down the stretch, lost at Mississippi. The bad loss was the first game of the SEC tournament. They got beat by Alabama, and it wasn't, so much the way they lost. I mean, they lost 64-53. They scored 53 points. Bama plays pretty good defense, but they don't play near as good a defense as Gonzaga does. And so you're talking about one of the top 2 defensive teams in the country. This is an Alabama team that out-rebounded South Carolina 40-25, and they don't have the size that Gonzaga has. So as you start to break down the Gonzaga-South Carolina game, the first thing you break down is this is the first team that South Carolina's played in this tournament that has a real low post presence, therefore allowing Gonzaga to play inside out. Now, Gonzaga, in the game against Xavier, Chris Mack started off playing behind their bigs, allowing them to get in the low post, and just saying your bigs can't beat us. Well, Collins and the Polish assassin got off a little bit and forced Collins to double team, and once he was forced to double team, his shooter spotted up, went 12 of 24 from behind the arc, and it was game over, blowout city. So Frankie Martin's got to ask himself this question: do I double down immediately and see if Gonzaga comes out cold? See, I think that's what he's going to do, because they tend to close out on shooters pretty good. The problem is this is a little different beast than anybody they've faced. This is a veteran, smart basketball team that does make the extra pass, very unselfish. And so as well as South Carolina matched up against Marquette, against Duke, against Baylor, against Florida, it's as poorly as they match up with Gonzaga. With that being said, it opened 6.5. I see some 7.5s out there right now. So I don't know. I mean, when I release 150 dimer and I cash that team, it's awful hard for me to go against them, because for them to deliver for me in the manner in which they did. But my gut and my head tell me two different things. My gut tells me, and people always say, don't listen to your head, because you listen to your head, it gets you in a lot of trouble. You guys know that. As kids growing up, you listen to it. You listen to your gut instinct. It reminds me a little bit of George Mason. And, guys, I had George Mason on that run, had him every game. And then I went to the well with them one more time, fell in love with them, went to the well with them one more time, and they played Florida, and they just didn't match up. Close game for a while, but Florida just had much better players across the board and ran them out of the gym in the second half and won by double digits. And I just think that everybody's going to jump on South Carolina here. They're a game late to the dance like they were with George Mason, and I just think Gonzaga pulls away. But I'm going to see what that number does the next couple of days. Again, it's full point, up to 7.5 now. 8.5, then you start thinking, so I'm going to have to wait to see what that does.
You call him the Polish assassin. We call him the big pierogi. Karnowski.
I like that. Same thing. I like the big pierogi, though. I'm going to use that on my next radio show, the big pierogi.
The big pierogi. On the other matchup, we have Carolina and Oregon. Where do you see this one going?
You know, when you think about Oregon, I don't know if Roy Williams is going to be able to play Meeks and Hicks at the same time. I just don't, because that means one of them is going to have to guard Dylan Brooks, because one of them is going to have to take Bell. One of them is going to have to take Brooks, because you got Dorsey, Ennis, who can flat out play. I mean, Oregon's got a 49-year-old point guard. I mean, the guy's been there forever, fifth-year senior. I mean, who will not be intimidated. And Duke beat Carolina by spreading them out and just kind of creating space and getting those bigs away from the basket. So it's an interesting matchup. For me, watching Georgia Tech last night get drilled, I kept saying to myself, okay, I need to check the box score of North Carolina to find out if there's anybody missing in that game, because if this Georgia Tech team, as a 17-point home underdog, was able to beat North Carolina 75-63, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong. For them to lose by 30 to TCU and yet beat North Carolina, I know you're not supposed to, like if you go to Panda Express, you're not supposed to mix the rice with the lo mein noodles, one or the other, because they take away from each other. Don't mix them. Just get the lo mein with the orange chicken. Don't mix the rice and lo mein noodles. I know you're not supposed to mix regular season with the tournament, but watch in the manner in which Georgia Tech lost, I was like, wow, how did North Carolina, as good as they are, lose to Georgia Tech? It made no sense to me whatsoever, and that got me on Oregon. I'll take Oregon plus the 5 with the way they're playing.
Vegas insider Brandan Lang with us right now, 104.5 The Team. So, Brandon, my favorite football team is moving into your backyard. What do you think of the Raiders going to Vegas?
Let me tell you something right now. That's going to be great. That's just going to be great. If you're a single guy, get to Vegas, because the talent that's going to be hanging around the Raiders is unbelievable. Move to Vegas, sell everything, go work at the Gas and Sip, and just be there. You know, it's like fishing with dynamite. It's going to be great. People don't realize that's the smartest move from a financial standpoint. The stadium's going to be right near downtown. I think Billy Walters is selling his golf course. That's one rumor I heard, that they're going to build it on his golf course near the airport. It's just smart. It's good business. People cut here. L.A., Phoenix, San Francisco, Bay Area, all in 1 hour flight. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, smart, very smart.
All right, Brandon, what's going on at BrandanLang.com?
150 dimer number 5 in a row. I don't know what it's going to be on Saturday. And if you've not taken advantage of the one-day free all-access pass, you can get it absolutely free on Saturday, plus 11 other best bets. It's an $800 value. My way of saying thanks for stopping by the website. Have a cocktail with me and my handicappers. See if you like it or not. Still got a free day on me.
BrandanLang.com, Brandan Lang. Always great talking to you. We might need you as like a tour guide when the Raiders finally get out there. I feel like that's the right way to do it.
This is what I tell everybody all the time. I'll show up and it's hangover 5, and just strap your seatbelt on. I may have my guy bring the IV to recharge you after Friday night or Saturday night, so you can go to one of the pool parties on Sunday. But you may need the IV on Saturday night to make the pool party on Sunday. But my friends say it's like Star Trek, because I'll take you where no man has gone before.
Brandan Lang, Brandon, we appreciate it so much. And I don't want to say good luck or anything, but I'm looking forward to that 150 dimer.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.